In a world where fairways meet the airwaves, where birdies and banker collide, welcome to the show that takes you beyond the clubhouse and onto the green. This is Balls and Tees, your passport to the golfing universe, where every swing tells a story and every putt has its punchline. Get ready to step onto the lush greens and dive into the world of divots, drives, and delightful banter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is yet another Wednesday evening, and you are chilling here with the one and only Tony Tone, the magician, the boy with a lot of flow. I am a classic man. And ladies and gentlemen, for those who have been following us from the get-go, I just want to say thank you. For those who've just joined us and stumbled upon us, listen, welcome to Balls and Teas, the only relevant podcast when it comes to golf talk. Ladies and gentlemen, today is going to be an amazing show because we've got an expert when it comes to everything that has to do with golf, whether it be the journalism part, whether it be the equipment part. And I can definitely assure you that this lady has played golf for most of her life. But without even spoiling the bean, I just want to say, you know what to do before we get into the show, because it's going to get heated. You just need to get yourself that ice cold water. I know it's raining in Gauteng, guys. It's been raining since weekend and it's not stopping. It's just been continuously raining. Please make sure that you keep warm, take a lot of vitamins. If you go to the gym, make sure that you are doing the right thing. But today we are about to heat things up and make sure that everything around you turns hot, because we've got the best of the best, as I said. So go ahead, get yourself that glass of water, and then we'll be back in 2 minutes. We will then get into the show. I'll catch you now.
In a world where fairways meet the airwaves, where birdies and banker collide, welcome to the show that takes you beyond the clubhouse and onto the green. This is Balls and Tees, your passport to the golfing universe, where every swing tells a story and every putt has its punchline. Get ready to step onto the lush greens and dive into the world of divots, drives, and delightful banter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As I said, you are here at Balls and Tees, the only relevant podcast when it comes to golf talk. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. I am so ecstatic because let me give you a bit of background. So I started playing golf in 2002, and that was through the South African Golf Development Board. And when I got there, once in a while we would get a little gazette. I don't want to say a newspaper, I'd say a gazette called Tea to Green. And I enjoyed reading it so much because it had the latest news, it had the latest equipment. And there were articles where they would give tips on how to actually improve particular or certain aspects of your game. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to welcome the co founder of Tea to Green, Lynn Jones. Lynn, how do you do today?
Oh, hello, Tony. I'm extremely well, thank you, despite the weather. And I wasn't sure you were talking about me, and I thought you had another guest on the show. Thank you for that.
No, well, I tried my best, Lynn, but I don't think I actually did justice to your name. If you don't mind, would you mind reintroducing yourself in a thorough manner and just let our audience know exactly who you are and how do you find yourself within the golfing space?
Oh, Tony. Well, in 1997, we launched a little publication called Tea to Green. My name is Lynn Jones. I co-founded it with my husband, Alan Jones.
Mhm.
Actually, it was Alan's idea, and I remember him coming home the one day and saying, "I think we should do a newsletter." And I was like, "What on earth do we know? Alan's marketing, sales, I'm also sales, accounting. How And he said, no, 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 I think we can. And it was probably the best decision we ever made in our life.
Mm-hmm.
It was our baby. It really was. It was wonderful. We launched it in July 1997. Ernie,
Mm-hmm.
our celebrity, kindly won the British Open that month. And so our next cover was, who else but else. So it was
Mm-hmm.
I think it was an indication of how the publication was going to go. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
It was probably the saddest day of my life when we sold it, because it really was a blessing. It moved us from Durban up to Joburg because it had grown so much, and as you know, most of the industry is in Joburg.
Yeah.
But it was just fantastic. It really was, and we spent many, many happy, years in the golf industry, and we haven't really been out except just in the last couple of years. After COVID and that, we don't no longer do a publication, but Tea to
Yeah.
Green was absolutely it was something very special. And for two really heck golfers, I can't call ourselves anything more than that, to
Mm-hmm.
start a golf publication. But we had unbelievable support. We had the best journalists. We had the most wonderful people that supported us, and we were, you know, even the Sunshine Tour at that stage used to advertise with us. It was brilliant, and obviously golf
Mm-hmm.
development was big then. It was just starting, and we were privileged enough to be at the start of the blossoming of golf. It really was an amazing time.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got that because Joe, we're just gonna delve into this conversation because I just want to understand. I mean, what inspired you guys? You did mention that it was your husband's idea, but before then, were you guys golfers or was it just something out of the blue?
No, we did play golf. We were members of Royal Durban Golf Club and Durban Country Club, and we were
Hmm.
avid golfers. We spent a lot of time at the golf club, and even to the stage where, because my husband came from the, hotel industry and that, and did promotions, we used to do quite a lot of sponsoring at, well, when I say sponsoring, getting sponsors for golf days, and we loved it. And it was actually,
Mm,
um, in the old days, it was called Natal. It was Natal. Um, uh, um, what do you call it, golf association, Ronnie
yeah.
Rungo, who kind of mentioned it to my husband and said, why don't you do a newsletter? And Alan had jumped on it. I actually think he was a frustrated journalist. He loved writing, and he used to always do, from the Keeping Up with the Joneses, and
Hmm.
he loved it. We loved it, Tony. It was so special. And we have this belief that when you do something that you're passionate about,
Hmm.
it shines through. So people who chase money and that, it's really just money comes when you doing what you love, and people see it and they appreciate it, and things develop from there. And now I
100%.
have a new love, balls and teas. It sounds it's so exciting to be involved, and I'm so grateful to you guys for bringing me on board and allowing me to be a part of you. And I'm
Oh
very
yes.
exciting.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And you can just hear it in my voice how excited I am because I mean, if there's anything I always talk about is timing. Timing. I mean, if we look at where you started with T2 Green, I think that was the epitome of South Africa's golf where I don't want to say legends because I believe a legend is someone who's passed on. So I would say the soon to be legends, people like or any else, Latif Hosen, though they were very, very dominant in the international golfing space. And what a perfect time for you guys to have started T2 Green. Everyone had their eyes on these two champions, and we just wanted to know every single thing about where they're playing, how they played, what clubs are they using. We actually wanted to replicate what's in their bags to say, okay, if any else is playing with Titleist, everybody wants to play with Titleist. If Latif Hussein is using TaylorMade, everybody wants to use TaylorMade. So I just want to say the timing at that point in time was perfect. But to add on to what you said about balls and tees coming through and saying, Lean, please, we need you. I have to say, there's no better timing.
Well, I'm going to say I agree with you, only because I am so passionate again. I think it took me a bit of time to sort of move forward. We very much we loved our hard copy because there was
Mm,
nothing more joyful for us than when we used to walk into a prize giving room or a bar after golf, and there were people
mhm,
coming through with a copy of tea and green under their arms, or and then they sit down and read it, and we would be, yeah, that's it. Never tired. We never got tired of that. And now I'm going to be so
mm,
happy if I hear people talking about, balls and teas, and what we discuss and what we should be discussing, because that's one of the things you always get feedback from the people, and that's very
mhm,
welcomed. And it really does help, ensure that our publication and now the podcast will be what the people want to hear, and they'll feel a part of it. Um, and I
mhm,
think that's what it's about, showing people that you care about them. We're passionate about golf. It's not just a job for us, it's something that we're really, really interested in and love. Although sometimes
mhm.
I hate the game when you play like a nitwit. And you think, what am I doing here? In
Yeah.
fact, at one stage I wasn't such a bad golfer, but then we'd get invited to these pro-ams and I'd play like an absolute beginner, because I would be like,
Yeah.
I'm going to show you pros I can play, and end up playing like an idiot. And then you get up and you think, oh, I wish I hadn't been there. Oh gosh, that's why I was so unto hole. You'd want to blot out what all the nonsense you played before. But it's wonderful, and it's those beautiful golf courses, the fresh air. It's something very special, and the camaraderie. The fact that
Mm,
you've got three other people that you normally getting on really well with, and you've got a common interest in that you're trying to do your best. And if you're lucky, you're going to win. If you don't, well, that's not so bad either, because we've had a great day out. But
mhm.
it's got everything there. It's got everything.
100%. And just to ask you a question, Lynn, I mean, you mentioned that you guys are from the KZN, um, and I mean, since 1997, you've seen the landscape of golf change throughout the years in South Africa, and most particularly coming from the coastal to inland. What would you say has been the biggest change so far, or the biggest challenge when it comes to transitioning from obviously living in the coastal space, and there's not a lot of golf courses as compared to Gauteng, and then you move into Gauteng where this is the so-called heart of South Africa, where there's multiple golf courses, the the environment, the scenery, the energy is totally different from KZN. How was it to actually adjust, and especially if when you were writing a publication about golf, if you look at where you were staying and where you actually stay at the moment, how different was it?
Well, the first thing was obviously, the ball goes further in Joburg, so we had to adjust club-wise. Um, the second thing was obviously we were used to the sea, and on some courses in Natal, obviously, or in Durban, you can hear it.
Mhm.
If you don't see the sea, you can sometimes hear the roar of the surf. And we were now
Yeah.
in Joburg vehicles. We heard hooting and cars and but every golf course is beautiful, and it is serene, and it is a pleasure, and to play. And I actually needed no adjusting at all. I found I love Joburg, I really do. I found
Mm.
that as you said, there are far more courses here. The growth has been
Mhm.
phenomenal. We were around in the days when when the golf um, residential golf, what do you call golf estates all started developing.
Mhm.
So we watched a lot of it, before our very eyes. So we've had a bird's eye view of a lot of what happened. But you write about, the Ernie Elses and the Retief Goossens and that. They really were the gentlemen of golf, and they did South Africa proud. Uh,
Mm.
so incredible for us to be able to write about them. Not so much me. I'm not a journalist. In fact, my writing is not my forte, to be quite,
Mm.
because people are amazing. Yeah, they really are. But more on the publishing side, my writing would probably be more when we did our promotions, and then I would write about that. I was very
Mm.
involved in that. But no, it's a very special industry to be in, one that it's you can't get out of. I think once you get in, you can't get out. It's a very special um, area to be in, because, as you know, golf is all about integrity. And so
Yeah.
being able to meet people who have the same, or are like-minded, and it's a pleasure to be in it. It really is. So yes, I couldn't be happier now, and I really am delighted to be associated and involved with balls and tees, I must say. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You should actually see the smile on my face, Lynn. Like when you're talking about excitement. um, so, Lynn, here's something that I believe globally is underrated, and that's the social aspect of golf. I mean, when people talk golf, a lot of people would think, okay, it's just about hitting the ball, walking around, seeing plants, trees, and all those things, and then going back to the 19th hole, which is the halfway house, people socializing and just drinking. But I believe there's more to it when we talk about the social aspects of golf. It can happen on the course and sometimes off the course. So what I'm trying to get to is that there's been a lot of disconnect when we're talking social golfing life, or the socialization of golfing, where people have perceived golf to be at best a gentleman's game, or it should be regarded as a place where you can discuss business. But they fail to understand that people build relationships, people build friendships, families are formed on the golf course or forged on the golf course, where individuals would meet just for a social setting on the golf course without even lifting a club. And with that being said, I would then presume that that also drives the economy around the golfing world. You'll correct me if I'm wrong there. If you look at the restaurants, if you look at the hospitality industry as a whole, to say, okay, people would go to the halfway house just to have lunch. As you said, there's a lot of golf estates, there's hotels and resorts that have golf courses on them, and people just like being out there in the open just to have a view of the scenery and just to relax without even playing. Now, these are some of the things that I believe are underrated. And from your side, as someone who's been exposed to this world of golf, I would like to get your opinions or your inputs around it, to say, how do you view it, and what is it that you've actually come across over the years regarding that particular aspect?
Well, Tony, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that golf is a business generator. A business is done on the golf course. And it was always said as well, if you are playing golf with a prospective client or a client, you're always going to be able to see what they like. You'll be able to see if they've got a bad temper or what's going to happen. So you will get to understand your client very quickly. The one thing that we used to do is we used to do these accommodation promotions. So we went to Mauritius. We went very often to Champagne Sports Resort, and people would just book and come with us. And I would arrange the four balls, and I would make sure that the first day you could choose your four ball, but the next 2 days I used to split them up. And you used to watch people that didn't know each other from Adam, never met each other, become firm friends, and it was joyful. It was what we wanted. It was not only golf, it was absolutely that whole aspect of making new friends, relaxing, being taken to a beautiful place. And then everyone goes home happy, listen, we'll see you back in Joburg. Oh, we'll meet you in Durban. Gosh, we're going to come and see and that's what it's and that's what golf is about. And then also we had wonderful sponsors like Global Golf. Joe Bartram was amazing. Very often she would join us, so she would interact with the users, end users, and it was very special. And yes, business is done on the golf course, because I hear sometimes from people, particularly people who are not golfers, and they've maybe been to a golf day and they've sponsored and been on a hole, and they go, no, it's not nice, people are not interested. And obviously there is those, but I always try to explain to them that golfers are very different. You've got to be careful how you catch them. They may be having a bad round or a very good round and don't want to be distracted, or So it's kind of interacting with them and then utilizing the time after the golf as well to maybe follow up and things like that, because it really is a wonderful, wonderful platform to be able to present new products. I'm actually talking to two new prospective sponsors for us, and they're people coming brand new into South Africa, and this
Cool.
is a wonderful platform for them. Yes, so you may be trying out some new irons and balls soon, but I believe in the golf market completely. I really do. I think that is fabulous. I'm a great believer in face-to-face, communication, and I think that
Mhm.
the the golfers are a wonderful platform to be able to interact with. So you are quite right with all of that. And the 19th hole is where you seal your deal. You started
Mhm.
out when you get on the course, and then it's all done and dusted when you complete. It's a fantastic avenue, and we should explore that. And maybe we will get involved in more of those, or maybe away trips. The
Yeah.
balls and trips and things like that. Um, and it's a very exciting time for us again. For me, it's a birth of another baby, and that's very exciting. So, and I love the fact that I'm surrounded by all you wonderful young guys who know the golf industry so well, having come from golf development as well. So you are the grassroots of it. So
Thank
you
you.
are edification. I mean, it's just fantastic. And the fact that you are still here in golf now, making a difference with the podcast. Well, congratulations
Mhm.
to all of you. And thank you for
Um,
reading teaching.
we really appreciate it, Lynn. And I have to ask you one question. You mentioned that the halfway house is where we seal the deal. Now I want to understand. Do we just seal the deal when we get to the halfway house, or we wait for someone to have 2, 3 drinks before we actually get to the core business?
I think don't put a price in until you have the 2, 3 drinks. And maybe you can
Um,
get them higher.
yeah.
No, let's yeah, as I said, I think I was pretty good at the 19th hole. Probably not a fact that my
Mm.
family would like to hear, but no, it's fun because you're either celebrating your great round, or you're commiserating because you played poorly. So there's always a reason to have that couple of glasses of wine. Um, but
100%.
and comfortable are our clubhouses. They are so wonderful. You spoke about the restaurants, and as you know, Wendy Alberts, the CEO of the Restaurant Association, is going to be
Mm,
a presenter on our show, and she really is the doyen of restaurants. An
mhm,
incredible lady. Um, she may not be a chef, in as trained, but she's an
mhm,
amazing cook. She's an amazing decorator, and I can't wait
mhm.
for you guys to be interacting with her as well. Um, so there's a lot that we can do, and our golf courses have some beautiful restaurants,
Yeah.
and also Wendy will be able to offer support in terms of training, for golf clubs that would like to have their waiters, perhaps be trained. Because what we also need is we need the international golfers to come, and help us, and that's job creation, and obviously they spending, which is revenue improvement, but they
Yeah.
will come with expectations. So Wendy is very able to do that. She has been nominated as a part of a Businesswoman of the Year quite a few times. Um,
Mhm,
so she's a perfect person for us to be partnered with. And she also has a couple of small hotels, guest houses that also are members of hers. But I
mhm,
think it's a very large platform. you know, Having the publication, we know how important advertising and exposure is for a product. There is a saying that says out of sight, out of mind, and that couldn't be more true. You have to keep your product in front of the people's eyes, for them to,
and
one, see it and remember it, but then also we sell our product as well. We are our best salespeople, and word of mouth
mhm,
is certainly is the first best way, but the next best way is to be around talking to people and making sure that they keep seeing your product. And we're going to be able to provide that facility for people. And golf clubs as well, you know. What makes me go to one club compared to another is possibly
Mhm.
someone who's spoken to me, or it might also be an event. But if you're looking just to go and have a social round of golf, what's going to attract you? I read about something, or they've got a special, or
Mhm.
something like that. So, yeah, hopefully we are going to be very instrumental in providing, you know, where people, or determining where people are going to go and play their golf as well. So that's going to be exciting as
Awesome stuff. Lynn, before we proceed, I just need to say something. I don't think our audience understands what's happening. But I hope after what I say, they will understand what's happening, because I just can't contain my excitement, number one. And number two, like I said, I have to say this. What a great time to be alive. And the reason I'm saying that is because if there's anything about myself, I like learning new things, and to actually be acquainted with someone like yourself who has so much knowledge and experience within the space that I operate in. I believe that there's so much that I'll be learning from you. And obviously, like you said, it's a group of young lads who just want to continue promoting golf, whether it's social or on a professional level. We are more adaptable to changes, especially technological changes. Man, that's a tongue twister.
well.
But I'm
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to us working together and seeing how we can actually change the environment or the landscape of golf and take it to new heights, alongside with all the partners that will be involved in our caucus.
Oh, Tony, I thank you. You know, I mean, you are the future. And I think the one thing that we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to promote talent. We're going to be able to try and see who we see who are going to be the budding, stars of the future. And that's very exciting as well. Although there is a plethora of wonderful golfers out there at the moment, we are very
Mm.
lucky. And yeah, with you guys as well, I think I'm going to be learning from you because I'm the old school. But if there's one thing that if we do something properly and we provide the information, and you know we all learn along the way from everything, and nothing ever stays the same. You know, all we want
Yeah.
is people, golfers, and people to play the game and love it as much as we do.
Mm. 100%. Now I'm gonna ask you a simple, but I think it's a pathetic question, but I will ask it to say, okay, Lynn, you have played golf. I'm sure you have played in a number of golf days, but so far, what would you say was the most ridiculous amount you paid to play on a golf day, and why that golf day specifically?
Wow. I could get into a lot of trouble. um, well, you know, I'm going to answer it in a really cowardly way. I'm going to
Mhm.
say that the expensive rounds of golf are normally really good value for money when you break it down,
Mm.
because it's what you get and it's how you feel when you are there. Because golf is an experience, and it's not just
Yeah.
arriving, jumping on the tee box, slapping the ball around, and coming off an hour. It's that whole thing of how you greet it when you get to the club, and what's a service like, and then you go out to the golf course and your golf cart is already there, and in some instances your name is on it. You feel special, you know, and then you go
Yeah.
out and play, and it's in beautiful condition, and it's a lovely day. So, and if you play okay, you don't mind what you pay. You know, it's only when you don't play so well that you find fault with the amount that you paid. And I think that yeah, you've got to experience all of this, and obviously sometimes it would be nice if green fees in that were a lot cheaper, but the
Mhm.
reality is that it's very costly to have a
Eileen?
I think pricing in golf is just unfortunately a fact that it is an expensive game, but there are so many people who are trying to make it more affordable for everyone, because it's
Mhm.
something that everyone shouldn't. It shouldn't only be for people who have the means. So and while there are also a wide variety of golf courses with different rates as well, all have their appeal. So golf is a game for everyone, and I think it's fantastic, and we need to keep trying to see how we can help. Because the bigger the fields, it does mean then that the prices can be a little bit more reasonable as well. So if we can fill some fields and generate a cheaper green fee for that, then that would be helping, as well, because it's better to have 100 people at 100 Rand than 10
Yeah.
people at 500 Rand. You've
Mhm.
got more people eating and drinking there, and it just makes better sense, and then the
Yeah.
spirit is. So, yeah, I'm sorry I took the coward's way out. But I think that it is horses for courses, and we need to realize that there's some places we're just going to have to, pay a bit more for.
No, 100%, 100%. And I wouldn't say it's a cowardly way out. I think that the way you constructed your answer is the best way to actually answer it. And I'm sorry for catching you off guard there. Now I want to find I want to find out. I mean, you've been like I said, you've been in this space for so long, and most particularly around the literature, as you said, you in your publication. There's a lot of topics that you guys covered. There's a lot of information that you guys disseminated. Now, I just want to find out, has someone ever approached you and said, listen, Lynn, last week or last month, I read the few tips that you actually put in T2 Green, and I've implemented them on the golf course, and I'm shooting better scores. Has anything like that ever happened to you?
Yes, Tony, you won't believe the things that used to happen to us. I mean, it was the most wonderful. Having a publication is really amazing. People come up to you with all kinds of also to help you. They think that what we should be doing, but yes, they commented on
Mm,
everything in the publication, whether it was a photograph. In fact, if we used to, I remember particularly, we had some ads for Euphoria Golf Estate,
mm,
and I got a phone call one day from a lady, and she said, "My husband plays golf, and he brings your publication home, and I read it. Please tell me,
mm,
where is Euphoria?" And, I could tell her, but that's so amazing. We had non-golfers read the publication as well, not just the golfers, and loved it. And
mm.
one of the best things as well is that, and this is why I'm so excited about balls and tees as well, and the fact that we're going to be, it's live, and we've got the cameras, is people, it's lovely to show people their faces, that
Yeah.
they're laughing, they're moving. That's going to be very special. It's just elevates that publication to another level, and that is very much more personal, and I think
Mhm.
the fact that we're going to be filming people and making it more accessible, I think that's very exciting, and I can't wait for the feedback from there as well. Possibly going to be something like, did you really have to film me from that angle or whatever, but some of the things might be a little bit different. But no, we had feedback constantly. We had lovely letters. People loved our contributors.
Mhm.
Um, but what's not to love? We have an amazing golf in South Africa with the most amazing people. They are so talented,
Mhm.
and not only our golfers but our journalists and the Golf RSA, the Sunshine Tour, the amount of tournaments that are out there now. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. All events. So it really is brilliant, and I'm absolutely delighted to be a part of it. And I should say, still a part of it after all these years.
No, definitely. Lynn, let's go for a 2-minute break, and then when we come back, I'll be drilling you with more and more questions, but I'll definitely make sure that I do not catch you off guard. But for the most of the second part of our episode, we will be talking about balls and tees. We'll be talking about how we're going to take golf to new heights in the next coming years.
Looking forward.
Awesome, awesome. So let's go get a refreshment, and then in 2 minutes time we'll be back.
Thank you, Tony.
Awesome.
Invisible Ink Consulting, your gateway to financial success. We specialise in providing the best solutions to manage your finance and accounting, ensuring a better life for you and your business. Our expert team offers top-notch accounting and tax consulting services tailored to various industries, including but not limited to engineering, medical practitioners, in construction, non-profits, events management, attorneys and financial services. Experience the power of our best analytics, backed by a commitment to our clients and a high level of knowledge. At Invisible Ink Consulting, we strive to deliver the best service you can get, making your financial journey seamless and rewarding. Choose Invisible Ink Consulting for a brighter financial future. Your success, our priority. Please visit us at www.invisibleinc.co.za to reach us. www.invisibleinc.co.za.
In a world where fairways meet the airwaves, where birdies and banker collide, welcome to the show that takes you beyond the clubhouse and onto the green. This is Balls and Tees, your passport to the golfing universe, where every swing tells a story and every putt has its punchline. Get ready to step onto the lush greens and dive into the world of divots, drives, and delightful banter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying around. And as you know, this is the one and only Tony Tone, the magician, the boy with a lot of flair. I am a classic man. I'm a classic man because I play golf. I don't know about you, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying tuned. As I said, today we've got a special guest, Lynn Jones, the co-founder of T2 Green, and guess what? The new member of Balls and Tees. And man, am I so excited because nothing can substitute experience and all the wisdom that she has. I get to sit next to her and say, Lynn, I want to find out, how do you do this in this space? And she gets to say, Tony, listen, let's talk about the podcast. How do you do this when it gets to this? So, ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any more time, I just want to welcome Lynn back. Lynn, are you still with us?
I'm still here, Tony.
Awesome stuff. Lynn, this is the second segment, and I have to say, I just can't get the smile off my face. Like every time I say your name, I'm like, oh yeah, Balls and Tees.
I love it too, Tony. I also get the smile on the face.
100%. Now, Lynn, as I said, I will be coming at you with a lot of questions, and but they're not difficult. I just want us to chat about Balls and Tees, to say, okay, if you were to look at the landscape of media around golf, whether it be publications, whether it be broadcast, if you were to look at it now and compare it to the time where you started your first publication in golf, what would you say has changed and what would you say has actually stayed the same around that landscape?
Well, when we got into golf, there were literally two other publications, Complete Golfer and Golf Digest, and
Mm,
ourselves. And then because of the boom, golf was booming.
mhm,
A lot of other publications tried to come in, but then fell by the wayside. And
mhm,
nowadays, obviously, the number of publications, golf publications, has diminished again. You've got a couple of online ones now, or a few of them. But obviously,
mhm,
podcast now is the way to go. It is the new modern interactive way. And I have to say, I love the immediacy of. I'm not a huge social media fan, but what I do love is the fact that we can talk to people immediately. Tea to Green was a monthly publication. So we used to have to wait 4 or 5 weeks before, depending on how many weeks in a month, for us to go to
mhm,
print. So there was a delay and everything. So we always had to watch, the events because, as you said in the introduction, we always tried to make sure we were fresh and up to date. So we normally went to print on a Monday, and we would make sure that we covered tournaments that ended on that Sunday
mhm,
because by the time you've printed it and it's got out. Whereas nowadays we can put things out instantly, and that's absolutely fantastic. And like I was saying, the Sunshine Tour, they feed a lot of articles, which is brilliant. So it makes it also a lot easier. Um, so yeah, that I think that is the difference. a
Mhm.
lot of podcasts are probably a lot easier and a little less expensive as well than printing. But obviously, also, people have gone off the hard print now. Personally, myself, I like the hard prints. I love the smell when the publication used to arrive. You could smell it. It was just
Mm,
brilliant. And you could read it easily as well. As an
mm,
older person, it's quite hard when you're trying to read it on your phone or your laptop or something like that, or even on the screen. I love the publication, but I suppose when you've done something for so long, sometimes it's a little bit hard to change, even though you
mm.
should. But yeah, I think perhaps that's been the only change, which was inevitable.
100%. And I have to just build up on what you said, because change is a very scary transition for most people. But we also need to bear in mind as people to say that for as much as we want change, and
Mm.
adapting to change is not usually as easy as we would want it to be. And sometimes, obviously, there needs to be a bridge between, to say, okay, let's talk about balls and tees, for instance. If we look at balls and tees, it's mainly digital. And if we look at T2 Green, it was more of a print media. It was very physical. So isn't there a way in which the old school and the new school can actually get together and be like, you know what, let's form something that can work without taking away the relevance of either one of the two?
I definitely think so. I mean, you still have your hard copy publications. I
Mm,
think at the end of the day, it's the pricing that
mm,
determines whether something stays or goes. Obviously, nowadays there's a lot of competition for ad spend,
mhm.
um, and you need to be able to do a good job. So, you can't cut corners. You need to have best writers, etc. So that's very important. I
Mm,
think, particularly in golf, that is probably the one sport where a hard copy still has relevance if you've
yeah.
got the budget, because your
Mhm.
golfers do like it. You still have your slightly older person who, we need our glasses and that, so it's quite nice to read. And it was something very special about being able to pick up a copy as went into the prize giving room or into the bar to join your four ball,
Yeah.
or the lounge. There is something in that, and one of the great things about it, and I am sitting in the past at the moment, was because we used to do the promotions. The fact that someone in the four ball would have a copy of the tea to green, they would then
Yeah.
see the ad. Oh, should we go? It kind of
Mhm.
created a nice vibe, and I think for me, one of the hardest things is always getting a four ball. Yes, oh gosh, who? Whereas if you're sitting together and you say, come on, let's all go and do this, it's really easy. So it
Yeah.
helped our promotion, I believe. Um, but we talk about the podcast now, and I think
Mhm.
it, that's our hard copy now. That is our future.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, and it's even better because we can communicate. People can talk and you can hear them, and that's even better than the written word. It's nice to hear. So
Mm.
yeah, that's progress, and I'm really happy with that, I must say. And you're quite right. I am going to say, how on earth do you guys do that? You are really clever, because it is really different. It's impressive.
Yeah.
But no, I think that is wonderful, and I believe wholeheartedly in the podcast now, uh,
Mhm.
particularly balls and teas. So
100%.
well, I'm looking forward to that, because you are going to be teaching me, and that's going to be fantastic. I'm probably going to prove to all the guys you're never too old to learn.
No, yeah, I believe that like you said, you're never too old to learn, but at the same time, there's no substitute for experience. Now, Lynn, I just want to find out, I mean, your own personal opinion, your take on social media and the impact it has in the golfing industry. Do you think it is actually helping the industry, or do you sometimes feel like it's taken away from the notion of the classic way, or the classic way of playing golf and the etiquette of golf? Because I've seen videos where people actually play golf in gyms on social media. And for someone like me who really believes in the classic feel and the etiquette of golf, I believe they just taken a bit away from golf. I'm not quite sure about the overall behavior or the overall conduct. Therefore, so I just want to find out your opinion around social media and golf. Do you think there's a disconnect, or do you think due to the way that the world is moving or the pace that the world is moving, there will always be these kind of challenges, and we just have to make sure that we educate people?
I think, Tony, I'm a traditionalist. I love golf. I love the rules. I love the fact you have your captains, and I love everything about golf like that. It really is a dignified sport. But
Mm,
having said that, we have to move with the times, and it's also important for golf clubs to survive. And people nowadays have different requirements,
mm,
and so one has to listen to them to survive. For someone who only started golf perhaps 5, 6 years ago, they won't have experienced what we experienced back in the 1990s and there, where it was a lot stricter. And yet, I never, well, you can always say, I mean, I started golf when ladies were really not all that welcome on the golf course. They were not used to seeing us. Um,
mhm,
so it was a bit different then. But at the same time, you have to respect. We weren't stopped playing golf. We just couldn't play on certain days, and
mhm,
then that all ended up, which was actually a good thing, just in terms of because ladies who work couldn't play midweek, and so therefore now they'll be able to play on the weekend. So it was progress.
mhm,
So everything that is done has been done, I think, for the right reasons, and it's correct, and it has ensured that golf has survived, and not only
mhm.
survived but blossomed. And that's ultimately, the objective of everything. It
Yeah.
would be nice. I don't like people in t-shirts and slops at in golf
Mhm.
clubs, in the clubhouses, um, because there was a time when, you wore jacket and ties to price
Yeah.
for the men, and we all used to dress up, and change. And I love that, but that's again going back to the dark ages. So no, I think progress, sometimes you have to move with it, no matter what. At the end of the day, the result is what counts. And I think that the result has been very positive. Some of the
Mhm.
golf clubs are really booming, and it's all because families have been included, and actually catered to. And that's very important. I think that's grown the game, and the memberships substantially. In the old
100%.
days, yeah.
Awesome. And just to follow up question on that, Lynn. I mean, we just spoke about the etiquette, the traditional aspect of golf, and social media. Now, I want to find out from you personally, if you were to have your own golf course, what's the one feature you'd actually incorporate in your golf course just to make sure that you stand out and your golf course is unique from the rest of all the golf courses?
What a great question. Well, I think when you stand on a clubhouse's terrace and you look out over the golf course, there's nothing more
Mm.
beautiful. It's
Yeah.
tranquil, it's picturesque. Um, so ensuring that your clubhouse has as most of our golf courses do have, your clubhouse has this view, this panoramic view, where
Mm.
it's such an advantage for clubs where you can, see the ninth and 18th greens. I think that's great
Yeah.
because you can watch the tournament's end, you can see the halfway, and that's very exciting. So that's a big plus.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and obviously the comfort, when you come in after golf, that's also very important for me. I think being able to, particularly in business, because if you're inviting clients to come and play, or prospective, clients, it's nice to be
Hmm.
able to offer them golf with a lovely meal afterwards, where you're well catered for,
Hmm.
and your wine is nicely chilled, etc. I think that's a very nice add-on, and that is very much the restaurant side where Wendy comes in as well. So
Mm.
that would be very exciting to hear her side, and then also to hear not just the golf. Is editorial now. We're going to have the restaurant and what's going on there, and how things are progressing or what the problems are, because obviously there's always something that has to be
Yeah.
attended to. And that's going to make it more interesting for the golfers as well. We say we're business people, a lot of business people, and now we're incorporating more into our show. And I think that's going to be very exciting.
Awesome, awesome. I like that. If there's anything that I would actually put in my golf course, if I had a golf course, or if I had an opportunity to own a golf course, I think I'd put a podcast. I'd incorporate a podcast. I want to hear people's views because, like you said, this sport is the most irritating sport that I've played personally, because from the first I go through a turmoil of emotions, and I see a lot of things on the golf course. So I would actually like people to express themselves, to say, this is how I felt before playing, this is how I feel while playing, and then this is how I feel after playing, and just to surmise everything and surmise people's experiences, and also to make sure that whoever is new in the golf course, or whoever wants membership in the golf course, can actually understand what goes on in the golf course. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I think how fantastic would that be? You'd probably have to do a lot of bleeping if we were catching them on the golf course after their rounds.
Mm,
No, community is fantastic, and I mean that's the thing as well. The clubs and club managers and their committees, they really have to try and listen to their members as well, because they do provide input. Sometimes it's not possible, but you have
mm-hmm,
to listen to. It's like anything. Um, if you listen to other people, you can grow, because we don't always have the best ideas. I know I don't, but you find a collaboration works really well. So I believe in teams. I love that. I'm a great believer in networking, and
mm,
that's very important. But the communication is the name of the game, and so it was wonderful when we had the publication,
mm,
and now with the podcast as well. It will be even better, because that's something that we have. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but that's something that we're going to be doing, live podcasts from, at golf days and things like that after. So people will see you all in action, and
mm-hmm,
they'll be able to, you'll be able to communicate with them as well and get that real time response from them. How was your round? Go away.
mm.
um, or yeah, how long have you got? So no, I think that's fantastic and very exciting, and it makes us, very approachable. And I think in terms of relationship building,
Mm.
I think it will be fantastic. People will remember balls and tees for a long time.
Awesome. I like that. Now you put a smile back on my face. What's gonna happen to me? I think today I'm gonna sleep smiling.
Okay. Are you sure you're talking
Yeah.
to me?
Now, here's an interesting thing. Obviously, golf is will test someone's character, and it's a game of integrity. So, um, if anything that people who've never played golf need to understand is that you call yourself out. You don't just do things because no one is seeing you. You actually reprimand yourself when you're on the golf course. Now, you've played golf so many times. You've attended golf days so many times. Have you seen someone's character, like their actual character, being revealed on the golf course, whether they had the worst day or the worst shot ever, or whether they were cheating on the golf course? We don't have to mention the names, by the way. We don't even have to mention the particular golf course or the particular golf day. I'm just saying, with regards to the whole integrity of the sports. Have you seen instances where people totally lose it because of one small thing or one slight mistake? And after doing so, what was your engagement or interaction with them afterwards? Were they the very same people that they were at that moment, or did you get to see a different side of them?
Well, I can honestly tell you that it had happened very seldom, hardly ever. But there has been an occurrence, um,
Hmm.
and it had to be dealt with as well.
Hmm.
And it's not unexpected. So your character does come out, and people do know who you are.
Hmm.
I that is a great strength of playing, golf with people, and playing with our friends. I mean, we tend to play a lot with our friends because we know each other, and we know that we're not going to encounter in the main. It's all going to be things and great, So, but I
Yeah.
think no, generally people are lovely people, and
Mhm.
it's fun. And golf is a fantastic game, and I think, if there were two people who were similar in a four ball, then you probably might find some more perhaps questionable behavior. But generally,
Mhm.
at the most, you might, if you found one, you've still got three other fabulous people to keep them in line. And I think that
Mhm.
at the end of the day is what helps to keep it the gentleman's sport. So
100%.
we look after each other.
No, definitely. Now, Lynn, we just about 10 minutes before the end of the show. Now, I'm gonna put you on the spot,
Hmm.
and you'll have to forgive me. Hopefully, you'll return the favor one of the days. So, it has to do with you playing golf. It has to do
Hmm.
with highlights of your golfing career and the downfalls, the moments of embarrassment while playing golf. So, with that being said, I would like to leave the platform to you to share with us the most embarrassing moments you've experienced on the golf course, and obviously the highlights that you've experienced on the golf course.
Okay, well, I'm going to start by saying I've had two holes in one, which has been
Ooh.
amazing. My first one was at Royal Durban,
Mm-hmm.
on a par three. In those days, it was a six hole. I think it's a different
Mm-hmm.
hole number now. And
Yeah.
then the next one was at CCJ on the Woodmead course on the eighth hole. And that was in a ladies' open. And I was, gosh, I was so honored to have had that, and they were so kind to me. This is also a highlight of my game, but also the most embarrassing as well. I was playing a league game at Beechwood, and
Mm.
playing absolute rubbish. I have to tell you, playing rubbish. And we got to a par five, and forgive me, I can't remember. I think it's a 14. And we teed off, and I hit my second shot, and we sort of both walked forward, and we couldn't find my ball. And gee, but it actually, believe it or not, it had gone straight. So where was it? And I actually said to my opponent, I said, maybe it's in the hole. And we both laughed like mad. We said, oh my gosh, like we've really been playing crap. But
Mm.
blame it down, it was in the hole. So I had an eagle, won the hole.
Wow.
And but I think they went back to playing rubbish again. So that was embarrassing, but it was also fantastic. Other than that, Johan, I've had played some interesting shots around the courses, and it's always whenever you want to play your best and impress someone, you play your worst.
Mhm.
Well, I found that. So, and then the harder the try you try, the worse you get. I think I've also had a couple of times where I've lost quite a few golf balls on the golf course. Water for me is a great attraction. Um, but yeah, no, I'd like to just stay with those three. I think
Yeah.
anything else I'll actually blot it out. So I think that was fantastic, and I have to say that my hole in one at Real Durban, it was a really straight, and you could see. But at CCJ, it was, the
Mm.
eighth has that bunker on the left, and it's got that little, you lose the hole, and the hole was on the left hand side. And I remember
Yeah.
hitting the ball in the air, and my caddy was going, "It's in the hole," and I'm thinking, really, but no. And and then I mean, we couldn't see the hole, and he just kept saying it's in the hole. I said, "Oh no, okay, well, wow, that's great." And the
Yeah.
closer we got, it's in the hole. And then when we got to the green, my ball was not there, and it was in the hole. So
Oh,
it was fantastic. What an amazing feeling, I have to say.
well, no,
But
that's really amazing.
yeah, it was fun. It really was fun. And at Royal Durban, it was actually a social round that I was playing. It was a very quiet day. It was in the
Mm.
morning. But just so happened, as my ball went in the hole, there was suddenly like about 10 people coming from all directions. They were playing. And we hadn't seen it. It was like, wow, weird. And it really was a
Yeah.
quiet moment. So,
Mm.
yeah, I'm delighted that I can say that I have had hole in ones. I have had eagles and I have had an albatross. So
Mm.
and I've had many triple babies in West. So they counted
So
them out.
in essence, had you seriously played golf, you would have been pro with ease.
Oh no, no, I don't think so. Believe it or not, my husband and I were tennis players,
Mm.
and we played league. We played high level tennis, and
Mhm.
my husband then got the bug to play golf, and I got injured. I couldn't play tennis. I got tennis elbow and golfer's elbow, and strangely enough, I could play golf. It was very odd, and that's how I got
Yeah.
to golf. I was playing with a few friends of mine. In fact, one of my friends, who brother was a very good golfer, and she was like, "Come on, Lynn, let's go and play." So Saturday
Mhm.
mornings, I can't believe it, it's 6:30 in the morning. We'd be at Royal Durban and we'd trundle down and we teach each other the rules, all the wrong rules. But and, and then the lady captain actually approached us and said, "Come on, girls, come and join us." And and we joined, and
Mm.
it was wonderful. I think in my second year or whatever, I got the most improved player, which was
Mm.
really. But no, I'm just a person who loved golf. I loved everything about golf because I enjoy that camaraderie. In tennis,
Yeah.
even if the four of you in the court, two of you are still trying to blix in the other two on the other side. Whereas in golf, the four of you play together, and
Yeah.
I think it's a very special sport. It really is. Yeah, so that's how I started. And that was
Mm.
a long time ago now. I'm trying to think the year. Probably around about 1988, maybe
Mm.
yeah, about 88, I think. Yeah,
That's a long while.
it's gone. Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, and then not long after that, 1997, we launched the first golf, our first golf publication. So we were,
Mm.
golf been very good to us, very good to us.
Awesome stuff. Now, I'm gonna ask you one last question today, Lynn, and
Hmm.
I actually want to disrupt the golfing society as a whole with this question because I like chaos at certain points in time. So my question is very simple, right? I mean, you've been playing golf for over 30 years. I've been playing golf for over 20 years,
Mhm.
although I play like I only started last year, but it's fine. So
I'm sure you
if
don't.
if there's anything, or actually let me be very specific, from all the rules in golf, if there's any one that you could change, which one would it be? And what adjustment would you actually make to that rule?
Well, I always hated that when you landed a divot, you didn't get a free drop. That was very unfair.
Mm.
um, I think that was, yeah. And bunkers. Some of the bunker rules are a bit weird. Like when there's water in the bunker and things like that. I think
Yeah.
sometimes it's the club's fault. They need to be more. Um, they need to have those special conditions where they say, uh,
Mhm.
you then get a free drop or whatever. But quite often, I used to find that there wasn't, and you used to have to play the ball as it lies and things like that. So, but I know the rules have changed a lot, recently as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, also that one, then a divot that wasn't fair. So
Mm.
I can't think of anything else um, that was sort of unfair or anything like that. Obviously, you
Yeah.
always wanted your. Um, no, I think that's about it, Tony. I don't really think of anything. I can give you it. What would you say?
If there's anything that I would want to change,
Mhm.
I'd look at the green. So there's a lot of things that happen especially when you're trying to play competitive and you're on the green. You try to do a practice stroke and you incidentally just place your putter on the ball and they say no, it's a stroke. I think that
Um,
should be reconsidered or reviewed because if the ball doesn't move, that doesn't mean that I've hit it. I've only touched
yeah.
it.
I must admit, I thought that wasn't a shot. As long as the ball doesn't move, it's only if the ball moves a minuscule amount. If it doesn't move, I
Mm.
don't think it is. It is. I stand corrected though, but
Mhm.
I must didn't think that that was. Maybe I was playing wrong. But no.
Maybe I'm the one who's been playing with the wrong rules.
No, no, you know what? We need to go back to our rules officials and get that rules book out.
100%.
No, this is a great. Um, your listeners, aren't we testing the listeners now? We're going to ask them for their feedback, aren't we? Are we right? Which
We,
one's
we,
right? Is Tony
we,
or
we
Lynn
actually
right?
need, yeah, we actually need to get that, hey? We actually need to
Yeah,
get that. I think we should actually post this question
yeah,
on our socials as well, just to find out what the listeners think and
good.
if we're right or wrong. But I can definitely assure you, both
Yeah.
myself and you are right and wrong at the same time. We create
Yeah.
our own rules.
No, I think we must, titillate the audience and make them think now.
100%.
Let them help us, and by helping us, they'll help everyone else.
That's very true. Well, Lynn, we've reached the end of our slot, and once again, I have to say I'm so excited
Oh,
to
thank you, Tim.
the yeah, I'm so excited to have you on board, and I'm so excited to seeing what we have in store. And for the audience out there, if you're listening, listen. When you see Lynn, you see balls and teens. When you see balls and teens, you see Lynn. So do not separate the two because we are one, and we are super excited to take golf to new heights this year and all the other years afterwards.
Thank you, Tony. I'm really excited and I'm honored to be, part of you guys. I really am. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
No, thank you so much, Lynn. And we will be chatting almost
Fantastic.
every day.
Appreciate it. You can't scream. That's
Awesome
fantastic,
stuff.
Tony. Very much. I've really enjoyed this. It's been really lovely talking to you.
No, it's been great talking to you, and I think it's gonna be great talking to you further, and it's gonna be a great time that we are gonna have as a team.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn. All the
Cheers,
best.
cheers.
Chat
All the
later.
best to you. Bye-bye. Yeah. Cheers.
All right, bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have it. That is the end of our slot, and I have to say, it has been a beautiful, beautiful session. That's Lynn Jones, the co-founder of T2 Green, and I have to say this without being shy. Welcome on board, Lynn. We are excited to start working with you, and we are excited to start shaking things up in South Africa's coffee industry. Not just South Africa, but we're going international. We're going to shift things around, and we're going to make sure that everybody starts playing golf. No matter who you are, where you are going to start enjoying the sport, whether you play it or you intend on playing it, you're going to do it. So ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I have to say, don't say that you heard this from me. Tomorrow is Thursday. I'm not going to work. I'll be on the golf course. Hopefully it will stop raining and then I can play a round of golf tomorrow. But for those who are working on Friday, I have to say, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, because I don't understand. Friday is part of the weekend. So how do you then go and be productive instead of being productive on the golf course? But that's just me. If it's not your thing, then it's cool. I have to say, I love you guys. Please continue supporting us. Please continue bringing more people to follow balls and tees. There's a lot of things coming up, and I'm excited for 2025. So I have to say, I love you, and I'm going to leave you at this moment.